Howdy, one of Wisdom here, Thursday, December 10th. We just opened up the Target exclusive Lottie from the Animal Crossing series, known the cool base. Something that went down this weekend. Went into GameStop for Nightfall, got mistletoe dive cloths for free. But I saw this and I about freaked. I was unaware that there had been a restock. This was the first time I'd ever seen this in person, ever. I only know, I guess, 2 people that got this character when he was new. I got a lot, like the day one before the Amiibo hype train just exploded and stock disappeared. I got Villager, Wii Fit Trainer. I had access to everybody I wanted, and I just picked up who I thought was cool or that I'd use in Smash Bros. Or, might like to have on display type of a thing. Never once did I have the opportunity to buy this guy, and that, of course, means it is... Dun dun dun, Little Mac. Now, of course, GameStop fashion, they've covered up the artwork there. The good news is these stickers do usually come off pretty easy. Take your time. $12.99 is the price. And the interesting thing here is just how ridiculously hard it was to get this guy. Basically, it was one of those deals, I think GameStop had him. That's where the people I know got him. And he just disappeared. There was like super limited supply, and he was gone, and he never came back. And that was crazy. But again, it was one of those deals. The Mario, the Yoshis, the Links, the Zeldas, they have interactions in other games. And this is kind of one of those one-hit wonders. All he does is going to be Smash Bros, at least at this point in time, so at least his intended primary function, that is. So that's kind of the way that they fell. The characters that were sort of limited to that one application kind of are what we saw dissipate. For example, Wii Fit Trainer, she didn't really have a function on Wii Fit or anything, or Wii Fit U, Wii Fit Plus, nothing. So unless you thought she looked cool, in her pose, you weren't going to get her, and then no one really anticipated, like, she's going to be gone. So that's sort of the fate he suffered, and the truth is, way back in the day, probably on a friend's SNES, I would play Super Punch-Out from time to time, and that's sort of my only experience. No real first-hand, like it wasn't a game I personally owned, but a lot of friends had it. And we'd mess around on that, have some fun. But I do actually like playing as him. He's one of the standalone unique characters that was added to Brawl. And he's got some cool alt outfits. What I like about this, my nephew's favorite color is green, and he's got the green gloves and shorts on in this one. So in terms of in-depth insight, I can't really provide you much aside from I remember playing Punch-Out when I was little, and Super Punch-Out, and crazy stuff like that. So anyway, here it is. This is the NFC portion of the gamepad. That's how you read them in. If you're playing on the 3DS, you can tap it down, the new 3DS, that is. If you're like me with the old school, you need that Power Puck accessory, which I still haven't picked up. Plan to get it with Happy Home Designer. I'm just kind of waiting for a price drop, because I'm crafty like that. So right here, this is the in-game artwork game. Gives you an idea for him. He is a pretty decent character, in my opinion. But you can take him all the way up to level 50, so that's kind of how you can have your fun. Sadly, the way Nintendo does things, you cannot use him in the packaging unless you open it, remove the foiled strip, seal him back up. So the good news is for you, I'm going to pull him out of here. Most people that have Little Mac didn't tend to unbox him. They're just like, oh, I'm going to hang him on my wall and never do anything with him. And, that's okay if you're super into the display stuff. But if you're just like a casual player and you're spent your $13 and then you can't even use the Amiibo to have fun with it, unless you really enjoy seeing it every day, in your game room, bedroom, studio, kitchen, dining room, wherever you've got them, that's odd. And there's so many people I know that do that. They've got an Amiibo wall at this point in time, and they even buy stuff for games that they don't like. So it's kind of like, there's a new Amiibo, gotta buy it. But I intend to use them, so that's what we're gonna do here. Right here, the 45, that's where we snap down. No issues being retained in the back packaging. I was kind of afraid of that. Now the coolest thing about the Amiibo, how easy they are to get out. That little booger right there, if you want to use Little Mac in his packaging, you got to pull this thing out, reseal it, and you should be home free. Now the good news is, especially with these snaps, you can't really tear the plastic up, and if you take your time and cut cleanly, or apply a little heat to the packaging, as you can see here, just like we did with Lottie, that would seal back up nicely, particularly on a shelf. Hanging on a wall, you might have to do a little tape on the backside, but hey, overall, not too shabby. So Again, I wish I could provide you intricate detail, but I can't. I just don't have the experience with the guy. But I have used him a little bit in Brawl, so that's kind of the Smash Bros, I should say. So that's kind of where we're at. He is not wanting to focus. That might be as good as it gets. So anyway, he's got the cross, the hook, everything thrown at you. A little bit of an uppercut action. We don't know exactly what he threw, but you can anticipate it, coming at you. That's basically what he looks like in Brawl. You just see this coming at you. So again, he does have some cool alt outfits if you're interested in those, if you haven't played this yet. Lace-up boots, black, white laces, blurry. They're not blurry in person, but they are on the camera. Looks like he's been doing some squats. He's got nice... looks like he's been training pretty hard. That's what you should do when you're a boxer, I suppose. A hired hand in Brawl. His belt is interesting. Is that Everlast? Dare they? No. It's not, but you can tell that's kind of the look they were going for. Back when this was a thing, the original game, I mean, Everlast was kind of... It's sort of hard to explain, but you know how popular Under Armour is right now? And you think, yeah, Everlast is just like boxing gloves and, those trunks and stuff. No. At the time, there was like a couple of years there in the 90s where people like Everlast was a brand, and women would go out and they would get it, and it was like, it was athletic clothing, if you will, but it was Everlast brand, and well, that's sort of what these are modeled after. So it's got kind of a funky off orange. It's not near the cool bright orange we have down here on the thump truck, but it is a nice contrast color, and I guess kind of period correct if you picture him in pixelated versions. Nice detail on the gloves, although you can't see it because it's blurry. He's actually got pretty good facial detail. It's a shame he's kind of hidden behind the punch. At the same time, it's cool. It's also kind of sad. And could you see that? This is just... Oh. Dun, dun, dun. Let me... We get moments of glory where you can kind of see definition. I don't think it's going to happen. That... My apologies. Oh, look at that. What? Somehow the light is just hitting that black, and it is not letting this thing focus. Every once in a while, if you pay attention, you'll see a moment where it kind of sharpens, and you can sort of pick out some clarity and detail. So, obviously the man's been working out. That's good. Looks like he's been doing his chest presses, maybe some push-ups. He's just going with the body weight route. He's been doing some bicep curls, probably working the triceps, the delts, the lats. Just geared up, ready to go and, take on the world in Super Smash Bros. So, that said, this is Little Mac. Again, I am very sorry about the detail here, but it's not going to happen with this lighting. If we put him down here, but then you can't see him because his features are so fine and chiseled. But anyway, if you're looking for this guy, I was absolutely shocked. I don't know how many they had. I just kind of glanced over and I was like, okay, well, oh, Green Ninja, that's cool. Lucario, wow. And then it was like Mewtwo, okay. And I was like, Little Mac. He's down there. He's on the very, it's like this little cardboard end cap, but it was in GameStop, so it wasn't end capped. It was just like randomly placed in the middle of the store. Down there, literally on the very bottom, where only like some kid crawling wouldn't be able to relay like Amiibo alert, Dad. There's Little Mac. And so that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Again, wish I could provide you more detail. Wish you could actually see him. But rest assured, if you are a fan of Little Mac, this is something you would want to pick up. Silver on the boots. That's something we can showcase. Nintendo, Amiibo. Pretty much it in terms of what you'll get to see, apparently. But you get the idea. He's got the pose. I can't really even show you the artwork because they've covered it with a price tag. So we're kind of screwed here. But again, it's a nice aggressive pose. The only downside, it kind of covers up the facial features. And the biggest downside is the way he is posed and with the lighting. I can't get him to focus at all. But once again, thanks so much for watching. My apologies. If you're a fan of Little Mac, let me know. Do you play the original Punch-Out games back in the day? And that's kind of what drew you to him in the new Smash Bros. Brawl, I should say. Oh, jeez. I spent so much time with the Wii version of the game. It's just always going to be Smash Bros. Brawl to me. And in the way Nintendo does things, they don't chronologically advance the name. They like retract Brawl. It throws me off big time. But I get a lot of hate from people over that. But I know what I'm talking about. I just don't always word it correctly. So Anyway, let me know if you're playing as him. Did you get him initially? If so, have you actually used him? Did you keep him sealed? Have you found him recently? Is this a revelation to you? Are you going to go out to GameStop right now and stand outside the door? Again, I don't know how big of a restock it is, if it's going to be the same stock we had initially, if it's a minor deal, if he's going to be shelf fodder. If it's only for Christmas time, I honestly know nothing in terms of that, but I do know that he was available at GameStop, saw him at a local store, picked him up, and that's all I can tell you. So that said, hopefully you enjoyed it. Again, if you're into Skylanders and you're into Amiibo, SkylanderClub.com, sign up, scroll down to the Nintendo section, and you can actually chat with some other Portal Masters who happen to also be Amiibo fanatics. So keep that in mind. OneOfWeezem.com, SkylanderClub.com. You can follow me on Twitch, follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook, circle me on Google+, whichever you prefer. Once again, thanks so much for watching. For myself and Little Mac, we will catch you back here for the next Amiibo unboxing.